Thanks for joining the Dating with Katy podcast. It is a matchmaker's guide to love and life, talking all things relationships. You know, as a matchmaker and always putting people on dates, I think I set up 6 dates this week. I had a couple go ring shopping, but I also dealt with some really difficult things this week. One of my best girlfriends in California, her husband went through cancer in a month and passed away. And that's her second husband who's passed away due to cancer. I mean, relationships our work. And that is why I'm trying to get deeper into like relationships, not just first dates. I mean, I want to get you to the first date and have you be successful, obviously, but then you got to get to the relationship. So today I'm talking straight talk because I'm going to be applying what I'm learning in my relationship right now. I am 7 years in. And as you guys know, it is called the 7-year itch. Now, we haven't been married 7 years. We've been married 2. But I would say because our relationship was kind of hot and heavy, we kind of moved into all of that quickly. Like we had a great first, couple years of dating, and it was fun. And so in these stages that I'm going to share with you today, the 5 stages of love, I'm going to explain how we're just already in our 7-year itch. I know with my first marriage, I was married for 10 years. I felt the 7-year itch just because after 7 years, I'd had 3 kids. And I felt like, oh, what is this meaning to my marriage? What is this meaning to myself? But in the second marriage that I'm in, 7 years is hitting right as we're dating and married now for 7 years in totality. Well, and I want to share with you the 5 stages of love because I have to tell you, I got myself a marriage coach. Now, I am a big believer. You've heard me say this. I want to get coaching from not just a PhD person. And my husband and I are going to therapy, and that I'm not even sure if that guy has a PhD. He's doing a lot of the Gottman methods with us and teaching us skills. I'm all about skills, practical application, which is why I got myself my marriage coach. Her name is Tammy. I'll be having her on my podcast. She's gone through the ringer. She had a rough marriage, and I'll have her share that, some infidelity or a lot of it. And she's come out joyful, happy, and in a fabulous second marriage. So why would I not seek coaching from somebody who is doing it and doing it well? And again, if that is you, you want some coaching in marriage, in dating, in relationships, and Katy, how do I get to where you are? Then just email me datingwithkaty@gmail.com. Also, if you want to go on dates with my clients, click the link below, work with me. So the reason I bring this up is because my husband and I are 2 years into marriage. And reality is hitting. Okay, so we'll talk about the 5 stages, and we're hitting the hard stage. And my marriage coach sends me, an article about how most people quit at the 3rd stage. And I definitely think that we're in that 3rd stage, and there's no way I'm quitting, and he's not quitting. But you can see why people want to quit. And I know the stats for second marriages are so terrible. I ran into a buddy once who was on his second marriage. And he's like, Katy, I'm getting a divorce. She loves her kids more. Like, don't get married second time. But deep down, I wanted to be married. I knew I always did. I have many of you ladies who follow me. You want to be married. And I think deep down, men do too. They actually do better in marriages. They live longer. They're happier. So I want to encourage you, if maybe you're in a second marriage or you're going for a 3rd and you're like so embarrassed, don't be. But let's learn and do better. So my husband and I right now, we're reading a book called Love and Respect, which is when I don't feel loved, I don't respect him. And when he doesn't feel respected, he is not very loving to me. Fantastic book. We'll save that for another podcast date. But what I found is that the word love, I want to feel loved. I tell my husband, I want to feel loved. And I was listening to Joyce Meyers, and she's like, here's the deal. We love ice cream. We love our dogs. We love our wives. There's not a big differential in the understanding of what this love looks like. And so I told my husband, I said, hey, I don't want to, love is too basic of a word, especially in the English language. Now, in original Greek, I believe there's like agape kind of love, phileo, which is friendship, agape. There's multiple kinds of love. That would be for another podcast. But it distinguishes the different kinds of love. And even in Spanish you could say yo te quiero or yo te amo. There's 2 different verbs that describe love. Yo te quiero is like I want you, I love you. It's kind of saucy and sexy. Like I wouldn't say it to my kids, I'd say it to my man. But if it's a deep love, you would say yo te amo. And that's amar, that's to love. They're both to love, but they both have very different meanings. And so in the English language, we lack that skill, and that, we have tons of synonyms. So I gave my husband some synonyms about what does love look like. And so with that, I just asked him, like, hey, could you cherish me? Could you adore me? Could you be thoughtful to me? Like, these are the ways that you can love me. And so it's a really important thing to distinguish what love looks like. And I recently asked him to make a list of things that make you feel respected, because how I feel respected as a woman may not be how he wants to feel respected as a man. That's a podcast for another day too. And he keeps saying he's going to be on the podcast. So if you see him, poke him a bit and say, hey, get on the podcast. But I want to go through the 5 stages of love because I don't want you to be a quitter. I want us all to get to that 5th stage. And you know it, you've seen it. You've seen those couples that you're like, whoa, like, how did they get there? I got to say, anybody 25 years married and happy, just round of applause. Kudos to you. And I say that whenever I meet people like that. Congratulate those people and ask the question, how did you get there? What did you get there? What's your advice? Because we all need to be growing in this. So let's go through these 5 stages. I'm sure you can look back at a relationship, figure out which stage was you, where did you go wrong? Of course, the first stage is easy. Most of you are dating, you're in that stage. It's just hard to find this. And the first thing is attraction, right? That's the chemistry. That's the going out. Oh, he's good looking, maybe swiping on apps. I just chatted with my coaching client. She dated a guy for 3 months. He was terrible at communication, terrible, didn't have a really good job. And he was 45 and her friend set her up. And I said, let me guess. The attraction was he was good looking and the sex was good. She said, well, at least he was good looking. But that is not what's going to get you to stage 5, but that's really what it is. And if you know me, I always say chemistry does not keep anything moving. It is, and I love this word picture. Chemistry is going to be like lighter fluid on a flame, right? You got to keep squeezing it and squeezing it and squeezing it. Like, sure, it's great and the flame gets giant and everyone's like, whoa, but then what? Because eventually you're going to run out of lighter fluid. You're going to run out of chemistry. It's going to change, right? And so what you want to be looking for in that early stage, you guys, is a spark. Like, first off, you should have your standards list and a spark. If they are meeting those standards, if he is putting in the effort, ladies, you're mirroring that effort, and there is a commonality between you two, then go for a second date, for Pete's sake. Like, give good people a chance. So that is, my 3-3-3 rule: 3 dates, 3 weeks, 3 months. I just had a client break up with someone because within the 3 months, he noticed that she was on some drugs. That was making her skinny, but it was also making her crazy. Like, ladies, you got to stop this stuff. Get off the drugs if it's making you crazy. And she drank. And again, 4 drinks in a 5-hour period, that's a lot on a little body, especially if she's on drugs, making her skinny. So these are things I'm hearing from my clients. You've got to make sure that you're looking for the right thing and you're in a healthy place to not only find an attraction with someone, but to move to the next stage, which is romance. We all want that stage. This is when you start to have kind of the honeymoon, adore, you've committed. And my husband and I, we had great attraction. Was there chemistry? Absolutely. But I liked him for a lot of deeper reasons. And so I knew that was like, okay, I like this guy. His effort was phenomenal. So we moved into romance and we dated during romance stages. I have a podcast. We dated long distance. It's a great podcast. If you're looking to date someone long distance, there are definitely some tactical principles that you need to do to feel considered and to feel safe and really secure that relationship. But we dated long distance. It's like a honeymoon every time I see him. It's like vacation. Like, we'd go on vacations, we'd see each other. We both had our space, which was nice. That's one of the reasons why I actually did like dating long distance. Had my kids, and when I didn't, I'd see him. So it was a really great use of my time, and I didn't feel divided. So if some of you are dating with kids, you feel that divide of like, my kids, this guy, and guys feel that too. So if you know me long enough to hear my podcast, you also know that keep your kids number one. Ladies and gentlemen, your kids will be out faster than you realize. It's true. People say it all the time. I just got a text from a woman I coach. She said, Katy, thank you for saying that. Like, I realized I was just all over the board and my son was not getting my full attention. And another girlfriend at church, she's got 2 little. She said, Katy, this is the best summer ever. I'm not dating anybody. I'm having a blast with my girls. It will divide your attention if you're dating. I understand the need to want to date, but make sure you really are not limited by your children. And keep them first, you guys. Just keep them first until they're out. So with that romance stage, you're adoring each other. You see the fun. You're writing each other cute notes. You're being thoughtful. And then the third stage, and this is the stage that they're saying people are quitting. And there's quiet quitting where you're slowly checking out. Then there's the I've pushed it under the rug and boom, I'm upset and I'm kind of done. That's not a great place to be either. But in this disillusion phase, this is when you've really got to buckle down. They call it delusion phase, which is not really a delusion because it's reality phase, and we should call it that. But this is when things get difficult. And if you're dating and if it's your early stages of dating and it's already difficult, red flag, red flag. But this is when you start to see the flaws, the annoyances, and conflict arises. Okay, this is where my husband and I are right now. I'm just being fully available to you guys. To be honest, we have started to see some bad habits both ways. I'm a little bit of not a nag, but he would say a nag probably, but I raise my voice. I kind of pick at him when I want attention because I'm not feeling loved. And then he kind of moves back and he'll kind of stonewall or he just won't communicate and I won't feel loved. I mean, it's the whole crazy respect cycle, right? It's the crazy cycle of love and respect. So that's why that book is great. But what I wanted us to realize, and for him as well, is that this is normal. It is part of the process. Like I've just found out, didn't know this in the 5 years of dating my husband, he does not like it when I crunch chips. Okay, well, I crunched chips when we were dating, but you seem to overlook it. Now, this is minimal. This is nothing huge. Got to make sure I keep my mouth shut. Some people have those little tactile or noise kind of frustrations, but it can cause frustration with him. And so I need to be mindful. But it's these little annoyances that build up. Like he obviously married a very passionate woman, but sometimes my passion can be interpreted as anger or frustration, where really I'm just passionate about it. But I am learning to tone that back a little bit, kind of use more the Gottman styles of the I feels rather than you statements. And he needs to rise up a little bit and communicate stronger with me. So we're in this conflict stage of like, here's my opportunity to either get better and grow or not. And, these are all of us are into like self mantras and motivational speaking. But when the rubber meets the road, can you actually apply it? And so I'm excited for this stage. I've been praying. I'm like, Lord, thank you for this difficult stage. I know it's going to make me better. Okay. Is it going to make you bitter or is it going to make you better? And so both partners have to be ready for that. Like it's going to make us better. And each partner needs to encourage each other in that phase of like, hey, I know this is a little bit hard right now, but I believe in us. So I'm like, babe, I need to hear that from you. And I'm going to tell you that I believe in us. We're going to get through this. And then it's going to be even better on the other side. This is when you water your own grass, you guys. So I pulled this up since this seems to be the section when people just quietly quit. I pulled this up and it's how to successfully navigate the delusional stage, which is the reality stage of difficulty. So these are some examples that they give. Number one, I love this one. Recognize that it's normal. Amen to that. Because I don't like feeling like I'm the weirdo. And my husband's like, this isn't normal. I'm like, this is normal. I don't know about your last marriage, but this is pretty common. Why are there so many books on this? Because it's common. So it says to understand it's a natural stage. It'll take away the anxiety and the frustration, right? Every couple goes through this. And some are just like not in tune enough to notice it. But girl, I can tell you these last couple of weeks, I am feeling this. And so number two is practice compassionate acceptance. Now, that's kind of like a big theory word. How do you do, compassionate acceptance? Well, you're working on accepting your partner's flaws and reminding yourself that this was the 20% that you were okay with when you got married. And this is what I've taught. Out of the 100% of your partner, 80% you need to like. You need to like that partner 80% enough so that when the 20% that you don't like, which I believe 10% is growth available, and 10% is maybe they're short, they're losing their hair, whatever it is, they can't change that. But hopefully your partner in that 10% that they could be growing in is choosing to grow. But even if they don't choose to grow, will you still love them? Because 80% is still pretty good. So for me, these are my little mental tricks to, keep me focused on what the game is. So practice compassion towards them. Look, you're not perfect. They're not perfect. You do things that bug them. They do things that bug you. So in that space, you really need to have grace. And I've said it before, grace and space in these areas of difficulty. Mutual acceptance. And it's not even acceptance. Like you just have to know you're messed up too. So like when you accept that you're messed up, it's easier to accept and kind of bring those expectations down, which is number 3. Revisit your expectations. So through this, sometimes I've been sad, like, wait, you don't court me like you did in dating. Well, it's different now and it looks different. And I personally have had to really revisit these expectations I have of him. Now, some I'm fine with, and I've checked with him and he's like, no, I think that's a great expectation. You can count on me for that. Some of it, our lives have changed now. I've moved. So even moving, I'm a little bit more bored here and I'd like to hang out with him more, but he still has his full-time job. So I have to rearrange my expectations and go find opportunities to be busy. And that's been a hard situation for me. As outgoing as I am, making new friends in new places isn't always easy. And then number 4, improve your conflict resolution skills. Boom, skills. I'm all about skills, you guys. And that's why you listen to this podcast, because you want to know, how did you get there? Like, I don't want the theory. I don't want the, like, if you just do this, it'll happen. Like, well, what do you mean by this? Like, I want, say this, act like this, behave like this. We are now in a counseling course with a one-on-one therapist. We're going to be learning the Gottman tricks, which I'm so excited about because I like to apply. I love homework. I love bullet points. And my husband is recognizing that structure is very helpful for me. So here's one of the pro tips I'm going to give you. In the beginning of our marriage, I said, hey, it would be great if we saw a therapist, a strong counselor once a month. I know a lot of guys don't like to do that. And he said no. So we didn't. But looking back, he and I both would agree that it would have been a good idea to really find one, just do those check-ins. And even with that happening, I had one more request, and that was to do a weekly huddle. Now, I'm a big believer in date nights, and even if you have children, you got to do date nights at home, date nights after they go to bed. Tell your kids, tonight is date night. After you go to sleep, mom and dad have a date. Do not bother them. We're in a stage in life where we can have date nights. We have the money, we have the means, we have the time. So we should be doing a practical date night every week. So I can get dressed up, I can feel sexy, I can wear the high heels I loved to wear when we were dating. And it's just a time to enjoy each other. What was happening, we were not having what I call the huddles. And a huddle for me is a space where we can talk about the goods and bads of the week. And date night was turning into Katy complaining night because I didn't have a space where I could share that. And so we are now entering a space where we realize Katy needs her structure. She needs an available opportunity to say, hey, look, you did this week and it made me feel really unloved. And you did this and it made me feel loved. So we can get some feedback. And you want to do that in times of non-conflict, which is why I created the huddle. And we did a few, maybe a full handful during our last couple years married. And I've seen other men, stating like, hey guys, do this with your wife, check in with her and make it a priority weekly. And it wasn't happening and date night was going bad. And there you go. That is not a skill. And so we're going to be implementing huddles so that we can get the skills. We're going to be learning how to speak better, express ourselves softer. That would be me. Express ourselves more often. That would be my husband. And I love this point that we are getting skills to do better. So my encouragement to you, get the skills before anything blows up. Okay. Now moving on. The next movement is towards attachment. And so this is where you are going to be building deeper bonds because you've gone through it. And every married couple's like, oh yeah, we were better on the other side. You might not see it while you're in that delusional frustration section of your marriage or relationship, but as you go through, you are going to be tested and tried and you're going to be stronger. So that's the attachment. And then the last is going to be stable. You're not worried. You're not stressed. You're not frustrated. You've learned each other. You've studied each other. You've learned the skills. Now ask yourself, are you willing? Find a partner who's willing. I just did a podcast on 10 hard questions to ask on a date. All of you are getting too old. You're still single. You're like, Katy, I'm asking these hard questions early. Like, ask them, where did your marriage end up? Where did your last relationship end up? And why did it end? Are you willing to go that extra mile through difficulty? And what do you do in difficulty? Let's find these things out before you get there. Am I right? Well, I hope that this was somewhat helpful. I want to be transparent with you guys. It's normal and it's going to be better on the other side. And I can't wait for a couple years from now. I'll be sharing that story of what we learned and the growth and the skills that were most applicable. And you're going to be hearing me talk about huddles more often. And with all of that, hey guys, send this to a friend, send this to a married friend. Make sure you give me 5 stars. Let me know what you need to hear about. Just had a single buddy text me, Katy, I'm over these apps. And I feel like there needs to be a whole nother podcast on I'm over the apps. Anyways, love you guys. Want the best for your relationships, all of them. Thanks for joining A Matchmaker's Guide to Love and Life with your favorite matchmaker, Katy Clark.